Alright you guys, this is my part 2 to my tutorial on Figures Mr. Hyde. In the last part I showed you guys how to make the drums, and in this one I'm going to show you how to make the bass. So first thing we want to do is I always take my drum rack and bring it over to the side, just so when you go to sidechain things it's easier and more organized. I'll create a combinator, we'll name it Hyde Bass. And then we'll put in a line mixer. I always do this just in case I want to duplicate my sound, or say put the sub layer in with my current patch, so that way you don't have to have two different MIDI note lanes or anything like that. And then I make this synth in the subtractor. So first thing you want to do is get the right waveform. Let's go for the line, and then we'll go all the way up to 24. And so then what I'm going to do is turn the octave down. It's a dubstep bass. We want it low, and we don't exactly want it in tune either, so let's turn it a little out of tune. The next thing we're going to do is turn up our portamento. Figure has a little bit of portamento in between his synths, so it does that slide, that wah 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 wah. Instead of just a ba 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 ba, it'll be more boo, which will sound a lot better. And then we're going to turn the filter frequency all the way down here, turn up a little phase, and then in the velocity we're going to bring down our amp all the way, and then turn up our range all the way up to 24. So this way when the figure uses this synth, it has that kind of clicky down, like that blah 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 blah, which is just an octave down, which gives it that really like flat, disgusting feel, kind of like a splatter, I guess. So right now, our synth pretty much sounds like nothing. But what we get a lot of our sound at is in the distortion. So we're going to make a Scream 4 distortion. We're going to switch it to digital mode, and then we're going to put P2 all the way up and P1 all the way down. I'm going to leave the damage control right about where it's at. If you want a little more dirt on it, you can turn it up or down. We're just going to bring up the bass a little bit and then put an E-type body on it. I'll make it sound a lot more full. This is without the body, with big difference. I'm going to turn the res all the way down, leave the auto where it's at, and then turn the scale all the way up. So sounding a lot better already. The next thing we're going to want to do is a pulverizer, a new feature to Reason 6. So if you guys are on Reason 5 or something like that, just put a filter on it and then rate the filter using automation or a matrix or whatever you want. Automation, sorry. We're going to bring up the dirt here, get it a little more gritty. Squash always sounds good. I normally turn the peak down a little bit because the preset where it's at, it kind of blocks a little the sound. You bring that down and it sounds a little more full. And the frequency is all the way up, that's good. And we're going to use this trimmer right here. But we're not going to keep it on this wave, we're going to do the ramp up. And then we're going to sync the rate and turn this to 1/8. And we want it to affect the volume, not the filter. So the volume will be over here. If you want it to say do the filter, it'll be on that side. But for this one, we're going to use the volume right here. Which gives it that kind of dubsteppy, wobbly feel. Now to give it a little better sound, we're going to go to create an effect. And now to give it a little more tone, we're going to put on a vocoder. And we're not going to use it as vocoder mode. We're actually going to switch it to equalizer, turn it down to 4-band, and then just the shift knob right here. For whatever reason, it just makes most bass sounds sound better. So with it, without it, it just has a little more grit, a little more bright. I put that on basically everything. And so now we're going to put on our compression. We're going to do 2 compressors, a maximizer, and we might as well do the filter while we're here. So we're going to bring the filter all the way up, get the full sound, and then we're going to plug sidechain into here. One for our kick and one for our snare. That's why we did this earlier. It doesn't matter which one's which. Then we're going to turn our ratios all the way up. And we'll see how much of the sound is being blocked right now. So we need a lot more on both of these. I'm going to bring up the snare almost all the way, and the kick drum almost all the way also. For this sound, you really want a lot of that taken out. So the first thing we're going to do is take a little bit off this input gain. It's a little hot right now. And I'm playing it too high of an octave. That's more like it. So we're going to turn on the limiter and put on some soft clip. And I'll pretty much just make it so we don't peak or go over our threshold. Next thing we're going to do is bring our mod wheel up. I think right there around 77 is where we're going to want it. And then if you right click, edit automation, I'll make a note lane for it. So right here it'll stay there. Otherwise, if you just close your project, then open it again, the mod will be brought back down to where it was, and it's really frustrating. Takes you forever to see why your stuff sounds so bad, and then you're like, oh, it's just a mod. So then let's put in our notes. I just put in some notes right here, right around the same pattern that Figure uses. And that's pretty much it. We just need that little splat before each one starts, which is why we put the range all the way up to 24. So we'll right click, edit automation on the pitch, and then it will bring us, get out of edit mode. It'll give us this pitch bend box right here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little lane for it. Probably zoom in some more. Really get in it because we just want it at the very beginning. So I'm going to take the snap to 32 just so everything's fairly perfect. And then whenever you're automating pitch, you want to make sure that you go back to 0. Otherwise it's going to be not the right note. Alright, we need that down a little longer. So we'll go here. That's more like it. That changed back from 0. See, that's a totally different pitch. We don't want that. And so then what we can do is we'll take this right here and just paste it to where we want it again. We'll go every other. So it has a more dubstep-y feel to it. Sounds a little quiet compared to our drums. Let's see what it looks like in the mixer. That's better. And yeah, that should be about it. Let's listen to it. Alright, so if you guys want to hear the original song, I'll put a blog posting on it and put it in the description, and you guys can check that out. Have fun with this bass sound, you guys.